sunrise up inside when you said I love you.
Deciding to walk away from someone you love is perhaps one of the most agonizing decisions a human being can make. You have invested time, energy, and vulnerability into a shared history. You remember the way they looked at you in the beginning, the rush of dopamine that flooded your brain, and the promises you made to one another. But lately, that warm, comforting feeling has been replaced by an intense anxiety in the pit of your stomach. You find yourself stuck between hope that things will return to how they were and a quiet, devastating realization that perhaps they never will. We are often taught that true love means never giving up. We are told that relationships are hard work and that if we just try a little harder, communicate a little better, or endure a little longer, we can fix anything. But there is a profound difference between working on a relationship and dragging a dead one across the finish line. Holding on to the wrong person isn't an act of strength. Sometimes it is merely an act of fear. Fear of being alone, fear of the unknown, or fear that you have wasted your time. Psychology tells us that our brains are wired to resist loss. We fall prey to the sunk cost fallacy, believing that because we have already invested years, we must keep investing, even if the returns are bankrupting our emotional well-being. But how do you know the difference between a rough patch and a dead end? How do you distinguish between a relationship that needs work and a relationship that needs to end? Here are 6 definitive signs that it is time to let go. 1. You are in love with their potential, not their reality. Are you in a relationship with who your partner is right now? Or are you in a relationship with who you hope they will become? This is one of the most common traps in modern romance. You see their glimmer of goodness, the way they could be if they just got that new job or stopped drinking or finally went to therapy or learned to control their temper. You hold on to the potential version of them, ignoring the reality standing in front of you. You've probably heard these words way too many times. I get it. I'm going to change. Only to repeat the exact same behavior 3 days later. If you find yourself constantly making excuses for their behavior to your friends, your family, or even yourself, you are no longer a partner. You have become their PR manager. You are managing their image to protect the fantasy you've built in your head. True love requires acceptance of the person as they are today. If you realize that your partner would never change, that the person they are right now is the person they will be for the next 50 years, would you still stay? If the answer is no, then you are not in love with them. You're in love with a fantasy, and it is unfair to both of you to wait for a transformation that may never come. 2. The relationship is taking a physical toll on your health. We often think of breakups as purely emotional events, but your body usually knows the relationship is over long before your mind accepts it. The early love is flooded with dopamine and oxytocin, but toxic stress triggers a different chemical cascade: cortisol. When you are with the wrong person, your nervous system remains in a chronic state of fight or flight. Do you feel a sense of dread when you hear their key in the door? Do you have unexplained headaches, stomach issues, or chronic fatigue? Do you feel physically exhausted after spending a weekend with them? This is your body screaming at you. A healthy relationship should be a source of regulation and comfort, a safe haven where your stress levels decrease. If being around your partner makes you feel like you are walking on eggshells, constantly monitoring your tone and behavior to avoid setting them off, your brain is treating your partner as a threat, not an ally. You cannot build a healthy life on a foundation of chronic anxiety. When your physical health begins to deteriorate because of your romantic life, your body is casting a vote that your mind needs to listen to. It is time to get out. 3. You have lost your sense of self. In the beginning, you were two distinct individuals who chose to come together. But slowly, over time, have you noticed that your world has shrunk? Maybe you've stopped seeing your friends because your partner gets jealous or makes you feel guilty for abandoning them. Maybe you've stopped pursuing your hobbies because they called them silly or a waste of time. Maybe you've stopped voicing your opinions because it's just easier to agree than to start another circular argument that goes nowhere. A sign of a dying relationship is when you slowly erode your own identity to fit into the small space your partner allows for you. You compromise not just on what movie to watch, but on your fundamental values, your needs, and your personality. You might think you are being selfless or supportive, but true support encourages you to grow, not to shrink. If you look in the mirror and don't recognize the person staring back, if you feel like a dimmed, quiet, or anxious version of your former self, the relationship is costing you too much. The price of admission for a relationship should never be your identity. You should not have to disappear for the relationship to work. 4. The communication has turned into contempt. Every couple fights. Conflict is inevitable because no two people are exactly the same. However, there is a specific type of conflict that predicts the end of a relationship with over 90% accuracy, according to relationship researchers like Dr. John Gottman. Contempt. Contempt is far worse than anger. Anger is, I am mad that you didn't do the dishes. Contempt is, you didn't do the dishes because you're lazy and selfish, just like your mother. Contempt attacks the character of the person rather than the behavior. It involves eye-rolling, mocking, sarcasm, and a sense of superiority. When you or your partner start treating each other with disdain, the foundation of respect, the glue of the relationship, has dissolved. Once respect is gone, it is nearly impossible to get back. If your partner belittles your accomplishments, laughs at your pain, or dismisses your feelings as crazy or oversensitive, they have stopped viewing you as an equal. Love cannot survive in an environment of disrespect. If you are the one feeling contempt for them, it is equally a sign that you have checked out emotionally. If you look at your partner and feel nothing but irritation and disgust, the relationship has already ended. You just haven't said the words yet. 5. You are the only one doing the work. Love is not just a feeling. It is a verb. It is a practice. It is the daily choice to clean up the vomit, to listen when you are tired, to prioritize the other person's well-being. But here is the crucial caveat. That practice must be reciprocal. A relationship is like a rowboat. If you are the only one rowing, you will exhaust yourself, and the boat will simply spin in circles. Are you the only one bringing up issues? Are you the only one reading self-help books, suggesting therapy, or trying to plan date nights to reconnect? When you pull back your effort, does the relationship completely collapse? Some people refuse to do the necessary work. They may claim to want a relationship, but they are too committed to their own comfort or defense mechanisms to actually participate in one. If you have clearly communicated your needs, expressed your hurt, and asked for change, and your partner responds with inaction or temporary love bombing only to revert to old patterns, you are not in a partnership. You are in a caretaking role. You cannot love someone enough to make them love you back properly. You cannot work hard enough for two people. If they are not meeting you halfway, it is time to stop rowing and let the boat go. 6. You are lonely when you are with them. There is a profound difference between being alone and being lonely. Being alone can be peaceful. It can be a time for self-reflection and rest. But being lonely while sitting right next to the person who is supposed to be your partner is a specific kind of torture. This happens when emotional intimacy has died. You stop sharing your inner world with them because you know they won't understand. Or worse, they won't care. You have good news, but they are the last person you want to call. You have a bad day, but you don't seek their comfort because you know they will turn the conversation back to themselves or tell you to get over it. When the emotional connection is severed, you become like two roommates passing in the hallways of a life you used to share. You might still share a bed, pay bills together, and eat dinner at the same table. But the bridge between your hearts has collapsed. Ask yourself this. When you have a moment of pure joy or deep sadness, is your partner still the first person you instinctively want to tell, or do you find yourself reaching for your phone to call someone else? If you realize you have stopped sharing your inner world because you no longer expect them to care, you are starving emotionally. Humans are wired for connection. Staying in a relationship where you are emotionally isolated is far more damaging than being single. Reading these signs might bring up a heavy feeling in your chest. Acknowledging that a relationship is over is terrifying. It means facing the unknown. It means untangling your lives, your finances, and your social circles. It means breaking the addiction to the dopamine highs that come with the good moments. But remember the lesson from neuroscience? The brain can be retrained. Just as you learned to love this person, you can learn to be whole without them. The pain of leaving is acute. It is sharp and intense, but it heals. The pain of staying in the wrong relationship is chronic. It is a dull, low-level ache that never goes away, slowly eroding your joy, your health, and your potential. You only have one life. You aren't alive long enough to spend it with someone who makes you feel small, anxious, or lonely. True love, the kind that is patient, respectful, and supportive, exists. But you will never find it if your hands are full holding on to the wrong person. Letting go is not a failure. It is an act of courage. It is a declaration that you respect yourself enough to demand more than crumbs. It is the ultimate practice of love, self-love. If this video helped you find the words for what you're feeling, please like it, so this message can reach others who might be silently struggling too. If you want to continue exploring the true psychology behind human connection, make sure to subscribe. And remember, letting go isn't about losing the other person. It is about finding the version of yourself that you lost along the way.